my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you step by step how to paint a waterfall with trees and a pretty sunset and clouds. I'm really excited, so let's get started. Okay guys, so here's the color palette that we're going to be using today. We've got, oh, it's starting to drip, black, cadmium yellow, sap green, aquamarine, ultramarine blue, neon yellow, titanium white, neon orange, and neon red. So we've got lots of colors here. This painting is going to be so fun, and I can't wait to show you guys how to paint a waterfall. I'm going to begin first with neon yellow and titanium white and a large blending brush. There's no water on this brush, and I'm going to just start painting a big circle. So that I'm leaving a white circle right here, just the canvas there. I'm not going to paint over it. Now, neon orange and neon yellow. And I'm going to go around with a Filbert brush. Just going to take a little bit more of those two colors again and very lightly go right around. Now I'm going to come from the corner, wiggle, and drag. We're just adding a few little clouds in here for the sunset. So I'm just wiggling, starting from the corners. Now I'm going to make a light pink color by taking white and neon red. And I'm going to just start lightly pulling that color in from the sides first. A little bit of orange now. I'm not thinking of too much about where I'm applying it. I'm kind of just letting the brush and color guide me. Okay, it's always a good idea to stand back and look at your paintings from a distance. I'm going to do that. And I think I'll come in from this side and add a few little ones right there. So we're kind of just adding streaks of color in the sky right now. Now I have to decide how low I want to go with my sky. I'm going to show you guys how to paint a waterfall today, so I want to have enough room. So I think right here will be our horizon line. So I'm just going to lightly pull across there. And I'll just add a little bit more of the pink. Oh, I think that's a bit too much, so I'm going to tone that with some white. A little bit of yellow. Go around again. And then I continuously go around and around just to create a really soft ring around that sun or halo. I want to wash my brush off first. Really dry it off. And then I want to take some of the ultramarine blue with titanium white, and I'm going to make a really light blue, which is really complementary to the orange in the sky that we've got here. I'm just going to lightly tap in little bits of it wherever okay, so if I add it over top of part of this pink, when it dries, it's going to be a very soft violet color. And if I add it over top of the yellow, of course I'm going to get a light green. So we're going to create so many pretty soft pastel shades in this painting. A little bit of white. And I'm going to use a little bit more white and just pick a few spots of those clouds where I want to add it. I don't want all the blue to be the same. Now I accidentally went over the outside of the sun, but I think I'll try to fix that in a second. The nice thing about acrylics is that they dry so fast, so they're really forgiving. If you make a mistake, you can either take a hairdryer and dry it off immediately, depending on how warm it is in your painting environment, it'll dry fairly quickly and you can paint over it anyways. Okay, so I'm going to wash my brush off and carefully try to take this off, and then I'll paint over it again. Take my same three colors, neon orange, yellow, and white. Now I'm going to take some titanium white, neon yellow, and go right in the center. Gives it a nice soft glow. Okay, so I think I'm ready to get started on the foreground. So we're going to use a large blending brush again. We want it to be a little bit wet. And we're going to take, because we really want our waterfall to show up, we need it to be really dark underneath. So let's take ultramarine blue and a little bit of black and a little bit of sap green. So I'm going to apply it right there. So you can see how it already looks like a waterfall. I'm holding my brush like this, right on the horizon line. I pull to the center a little bit and then down. But we're going to go over it, so I'll show you exactly how to do it in a minute. I just want to get a really dark color under here first. As that dries, we're going to create some trees way off in the distance back there. I'm using a fan brush. It's a medium-sized one. So I'm just taking sap green for this and some water on my brush. Now I'm going to line it up, turning it this way, line it up on the horizon, and I'm going to press, pull, and then flick. Flick, flick. Come over on this side, it might be a bit easier. So because they're so far away, to create that perspective that they're really far away going back there, we're just going to do shorter flicks. So longer when we want it to look like it appears closer to us, and go back for a little bit more water when you need it, just to help that paint flow out of your brush. I'm going to start on this side. Again, I'm lining it up right on that horizon line, lightly pulling and flicking, and then shorter ones that are really far away. Now I want to take a little bit of cadmium yellow with my brush that's got sap green on it still, and I'm going to flick a little bit of that in there as well. Now I'm going to start just adding some little trees by tapping, using the corner of my brush where I want to be really careful and make them smaller. Maybe I'll just make this one a little bit darker. brush for this too. I think I will, just to show you guys what it looks like to use a Filbert brush. You get a bit of a different, yeah, I'll use a Filbert brush on this side. You get a bit of a different look to your trees. So so this is a Filbert brush, if you guys don't know. It's rounded on the tip. It's a really, really nice brush to use for foliage, clouds. So I'm holding it like this to make it skinny, and then I'm gonna very lightly tap in the top. Those baby branches at the top. And I'm gonna use the full width of the brush and tap back and forth. So what it does is it makes the branches look like they're turning down like this. Whereas the fan brush almost makes them look a little bit messier. I like both. I don't prefer one over the other, but it's just fun to play around. So I'll just tap in a few more here. Now I'm going to pick up a little bit of titanium white with the cadmium yellow and the sap green, and maybe the sun is hitting these trees a little bit, so they're going to be lighter in color, and because they're farther away, right? When things are farther away, they're going to be a little bit faded compared to the foreground. Maybe just, okay, a little bit back there. All right, so now we're gonna work on the foliage on the foreground right on either side of the waterfall. We're gonna use a mop brush for this. So these are the mop brushes. And I'm gonna start with the largest one first, and I'm not gonna get it wet, excuse me. And I'm going to show you correctly how to load your brush. So I'm tapping the end of my brush in the sap green and a little bit of cadmium yellow. Okay, so it looks pretty even to me on the bottom. It's lost its shape a little bit, but that's okay. And I'm gonna start with the outside. Now I wanna apply it right on top of where those trees just started. That will instantly put them in the distance and these bushes in the foreground. Now I don't think we can see those very well, so I'm going to pick up more titanium, or not titanium white, sorry, cadmium yellow, and I'm going to apply it over top of part of these bushes. Think of where the light's going to be hitting them, so that's where you know to put your highlight. And then I'll just leave a few spaces. Okay, I'm going to take some titanium white now, cadmium yellow, and sap green, a little bit more white. Okay, I'm going to really brighten up these highlights now, but you don't want to overdo it, so you just want to add less of these now. Okay, just a few like that. Maybe a little bit more sap green. I don't want to overdo it. Okay, so now we're going to work on the waterfall. So there are 3 brushes I've got here that I'm going to use. Because this is a larger waterfall, I'm going to use this larger brush for the base. So, well, it'll be the second base. First is the dark underpainting. And this is going to be the second base that we're going to use Aquamarine with. And then we're going to come in with the brightest highlight with a few fan brushes. So we're going to begin with the Aquamarine. And I want to take quite a bit, wiggle it, and have, whoops, quite a ridge on the very tip of my brush. And okay, I'm going to stand over here. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing fairly well. I'm going to hold it like this, line it up on that horizon line, gently pull to the center, and then curve and drop. Okay, just like that. We can do it again. Add a little bit on the corner of my brush and just maybe have like a little one coming down there. And again from the side, maybe another one dropping there. Now I'm just going to lightly pull and sweep across the bottom and tap for that little spray at the bottom of the waterfall. Okay, now we're going to come in with a highlight and our fan brush. So I'll first use the larger fan brush, and I just want to make sure that all the bristles are fairly close and tight together. Now I'm going to push and wiggle flat like that, turn it and load it up into that white. And then I want to make sure I have some on the tip. I'm going to also take a little bit of that aquamarine, so I've got a bit of both. Now, with the ridge of your paint on the top of the brush, you're going to hold it, and this time you're going to be even lighter with how you apply it. So barely touch that canvas, line it up, the horizon, pull and drop. Let's try that again with some more white. Pull and drop. Pull, drop. Use the corner of my brush when I want to make smaller ones. And then I'm just going to dust, lightly pull at the bottom. Okay, so now for our final coat on our waterfall, I've got my smallest fan brush and a ridge of titanium white. So I've got lots on the tip of my brush there. And again, I'm going to pull and drop. I'm just going to barely touching that canvas, little soft swirly circles at the bottom, kind of stumbling. And I'm just going to take my finger a little bit more of that white paint, tap, and just soften. Okay, so I've got some, we're finished our waterfall, and I've got some leftover orange and red and white. So maybe we should bring in some flowers now. I don't want to waste all this leftover paint. So I'll just show you guys how to do some quick little impressionistic flowers. I've got this round brush, medium size, whoops, titanium white, neon red, neon orange. I'm kind of twirling it around. I don't want to overblend. And maybe we'll have this little dots right here, a little bush of flowers. So we're just tapping with the end of our brush. Maybe some on this side. And a little bit more red. Maybe we'll bring in just a little bit of yellow too. A little bit more yellow. Okay, I think I have one more thing that I want to do, and then we're going to be finished this painting. So I've washed my round brush off, and I want to take some neon yellow now. And I want to add a little bit of it to where the bushes and the foliage are the brightest. Just add another shade of green, because once this yellow dries, It's gonna look like more like a chartreuse green. Okay, so before I get too carried away, I think I'm going to call this one done. I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this and you learned a lot. Thanks again for subscribing and watching my videos. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!